Gracie, what about you? I mean, Elihu is your Super Bowl, it's your Tony Awards. It's
just sat in Godzilla and just or like I think it says that's the quarantine and really express yes, people that and
I mean, y'all should have seen the cabaret last night. She performed.
Oh yeah.
She's embarrassed, but I'm going to sit here and do the proud mom thing because she not only performed with another amazing singer, Nicole Olivo, and they did this duet and it was amazing. And not only were they fantastic, but the entire audience were people that basically have known Gracie since she was the 6-year-old running around, and everyone's going, does everyone have tabs on Gracie, making sure she's not getting into anything? And now she's up there and she's this big, gorgeous woman with this big, gorgeous voice. And every single person in the audience felt like a proud auntie or uncle. And they're all looking at her, they're all like as proud of her as I am, and that includes, by the way, Colin Baker and Terry McCoy, and
absolutely,
the entire front row was guests who were performing in the thing also, and they all gave a standing ovation. It was it was a lovely, lovely thing.
It was.
Here's hoping. I mean, it was done with a track. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. And now that you've actually done it together, they've been rehearsing it separately all summer.
Right. Right.
I mean, when I was rehearsing my cabaret, my sold out cabaret that was at Don't Tell Mamas last April, which you can see on my YouTube channel, just saying. Hey man, she says to me, when can I have my own cabaret? I'm like, earn it, kid. Yeah,
Right.
it's true. It's true. You got the skills, you got the people. So
It's you.
I think so intentionally connected. I think it's just thinking about the differences sort of the ways that we came to and just sort of I'm kind of speak for you, but I think it's really cool that the right purpose and into that. And I certainly, on the subject of performing, I didn't go to college. I mean, I didn't feel like I was. I grew up when the internet was starting to become something practical. So I was fortunate enough to not feel completely isolated in my family stuff anyway. But like my mom was an actress and I did work with theater people before I decided that I was interested in acting and interested in theater. So I grew up into this thing where, I grew up at a certain point, I could actually talk with all my mom's friends, with all these people who know amazing about theater and, engage with them. That is, a huge thing that I think was really important. And I think, that just goes back to community. Especially because it feels like certifying life and performing life and law and things. And that's you discovered. About the fact that it's very realistic that a lot of people who would never admit it was in every single one of them. I'm bumping all my business things at Mountain or at the same time, or that at the time I'm thinking about story, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and all kinds of reference about and this was what it's being it's going to be. You don't understand that. It's like, yes, we do. What?
Mhm.
The convention, if you do not even just something that is like 2 hours, right?
Right.
There's definitely a the Ben document is.
Yes, yes.
That might be touching to respond to what is doing. So we have to take the production of the connections.
Mhm.
This is, I think one is Andrea States, and then she was going to. And found out that it's like, this one, she's like, no. Oh, wait. She. Oh, is it? Okay, well, she's 24.
Mhm.
And he's all,
Yeah.
constantly and feeling reply.
Aw,
Right.
icon.
Mhm.
And just going, and like I said, you going, you can do this. What was your introduction to spoon stepping? Not so quick, just it's videos and that's the plan to. I want to say like it was just. Yeah, it's weird.
Mhm.
It was the thing that was, that was there, that was the big thing, and like my roommate, was going, I'm going to the area, so this was a new one to me, and it was, my roommate wanted to go, and I'm like, yeah, cool, like a kind of thing, I'm like, yeah, I've never been to this, this from my favorite, like, all the stuff, and I'm like, cool. Like, revelation, it's just not like, what I'm into this.
I had weirdo gamer friends as a teenager. So we went to like the Renaissance Fair and so we'd, dress up as our D&D characters and the like. So we'd go to the Renaissance Fair and then we'd go to like these little indie cons that got held on college campuses and things like BozCon and I don't even remember what all, but I remember going to Icon. I remember going to New York back in the day, like back in the 80s.
Right.
And the Star Trek ones back at the Penta Hotel. I went to all the XenoCons back in the day. And then like you, I fell out of it for a while. Not because I grew up, but just because I was married to somebody who wasn't into going and whatever. And then I got back into it with River Song was my gateway drug back in. So I'm always saying that River was my Tay Diggs.
Right.
She helped me get my groove back.
So for me, it goes back. I grew up in Connecticut, and my mom was a theater person too. She was part of the Mark Twain Maskers, and I always loved, that she would do these shows like Gypsy and other things. I always thought that was great, and I'll be a like secret. One of my favorite songs, Hernando's Hideaway. I love that thing. But she was very kind. She was working like 2 or 3 jobs trying to raise us. But she found the time to take me to like Springfield, Massachusetts, go to a convention there or mini conventions or any of the Doctor Who traveling exhibitions. But then I went to school and I lived in Montreal for a while. And there was this really cool, we had this Gallifreyan, I forget exactly what it was called, but the High Council of Gallifrey, I think is what it called. My friend Andrew Gurudada ran it over there. And we actually were able to organize a couple of conventions. We had Mira Furlan and we had Sarek, Mark Leonard, met Mark Leonard there. And it was really cool to just go to those conventions. So I did enjoy that while I was in university, and I had just enough money that I could afford it. But then I come down here and I did all the other things. I did a bunch of electric car things, of all things. But then they started this thing called Regen Who. And once they started the Regen Who,
Regen of blessed memory.
the blessed memory, the name that shall not be named, and I'm naming it, oops, but it was in Maryland and I was living in Virginia. I was living in Virginia at the time, and it was convenient. I could do this. And so I did. And that's where I met folks like Kat, folks like, all the people here. I mean, and made some really good friends. And it has been just a blessing for this. And it got me into, I mean, technically I was into cosplay before that, just because I thought it was cool. But that inspired me to do my first cosplay, because we just did a fuck yeah William Russell. And that's the only time I'm going to use an expletive on this channel and this type of episode, because that's literally what it was called. But my first cosplay was Ian Chesterton, and I had to do that cosplay, even with the mustache, what we will call the porn stash. Ian with porn stash last night, and I was very happy to do that because Ian, I love the fact that he was a science teacher. I run a science book club. I think that learning is important, and he was a very inspirational character to me right from the beginning of the show in 1963. And one other thing that I think is interesting is that I love my Doctor Who. This is something that I founded the Northern Virginia Doctor Who Viewing Society, and I've had fandom there. And I decided this year to watch every episode. I've been talking about it on my blog. Watch every episode since January 1st, Unearthly Child. And tonight, I am watching the ends of the final episodes of Patrick Troughton.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Should we wrap up and let everybody get back to their con?
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Laurance, Gracie, Alex.
Bye, everybody out there.
Bye.
Bye.